All right, so many things to talk about with the Texans. It's offseason time, and in the latest mock draft, there was one, HoustonTexans.com put together a really good compilation of what a bunch of different mock drafts have going to the Texans. Now, the Texans, as you know, are not picking toward the back end of the first round. They actually got a pick that's better than if they had kept their own pick, but they're not picking until 23. And it turns out there's a lot of talent, like a ton of talent at the back end of that one. And so here's a couple things. First, if you're not familiar with this channel, we are Lions fans. I got my background. We're messing with some stuff. You're going to see new stuff coming in the next few days. Got a signed Hutch jersey coming into place. But a couple of different things. We love the NFL. We love teams that the national media kind of ignores. That's why you're not going to see the Cowboys on this. You're not going to see it. We're talking Texans, baby. So here's something that I found to be really interesting with your draft. And so they kind of broke it down into who are you drafting and who is picked the most. The number, and so here's what I want to do in this video. I want to talk about each of these guys and why they may or may not be a good fit with the Texans. All right, so first you have defensive end Chop Robinson. Now, Chop Robinson was a top 5. He was a top 5 guy before the draft started. I mean, minimum top 10. Before the season started, everybody thought like, ooh, this is the dude. Like, he's going to be really good, and he does have that just ridiculous athleticism that could help him. But he hasn't produced that much. He's one of those guys where you say PFF doesn't tell the whole story. He's 6'3", 250. He's had a couple of really good games. He played throughout the Big Ten. He only played in 10 games this year, had almost the exact same grade as he had the year before, had almost the exact same production that he had the year before, except somehow considerably less at the same time. He actually got worse. Now, this is kind of a theme for Penn State defensive lineman not named Micah Parsons, who's a linebacker, right? Who they ended up playing everywhere. So here's the thing. They look good, they get good grades, but they don't produce. So, for example, when you're looking at a guy like Chop Robinson, what you see here is 2 years ago in 2022, he gets 455 snaps. 455 snaps in 12 games. That produces him 5 sacks, not great, 9 hits, and 34 hurries. The 34 hurries is really good, almost 3 hurries a game. But then those numbers drop off significantly this year. Significantly, and part of it is just the number of pass rush snaps that he got. That I do love the breakdown here. But he has 3 sacks, he has 5 hits, he has 18 hurries. Like, I mean, honestly, it's not that great. And with almost 150 pass rush snaps, I mean, he's getting a hurry 1 out of every 7.5, 8. It's closer to 8. He's getting a good pass rush. I don't love Chop Robinson. Now, here's the thing. I think with some good coaching, which you do have, he can unlock that full potential. So at pick number 23, absolutely no problem with going with Chop Robinson. Now, if you look at this article, the next person that they have drafting the most is Troy Fautanu. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Don't worry. I'll get myself right. All right, but I know who the guy is. Another thing you see in the background there is a Michigan helmet. All right, you're going to see pretty soon, it might have a little Jim Harbaugh signed picture coming too. All right, but you have the Michigan helmet. I watched this guy against U of M. He played well. Like, he played pretty well. And here's the thing. He's a guy who doesn't grade out super tremendous. He grades out well in PFF, but he is an elite pass blocker. All right, to give you an idea on this, in 623 pass block snaps, 623 pass block snaps, he gave up 2 sacks. In 623 pass block snaps, he gave up 3 hits. And in that same 623 pass block snaps, he only gave up 18 hurries. In other words, the quarterback was hurried 18 times. To give you an example, all right, an elite pass rusher, Chop Robinson, had 18 hurries all season, and that was on 148 pass rush snaps. All right, Troy, where he struggles is in the run game. So if you want another tackle on the right side to protect CJ Stroud, he is absolutely a good choice. All right, we're not done yet. We're moving, and Latu, all right, at UCLA. Now, this guy is kind of the opposite of what we saw with Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson has all this, excitement going into the season, and Latu just kept building and building and building as he got through the season. He produced last year, but people are wondering, all right, how much can he continue? He's 6'5". He's 265. As you can see by this, he plays with great consistency. All right, his pass rush grade is out of this world. His true pass set rush grade is out of this world. His run defense grade is good. His win rate is 26%. Look at these stats. He stays healthy over the last 2 years. In pass rushing, he gets 300 pass rush snaps essentially each season. He turns that into, this season, 15 sacks, 11 hits, and 36 hurries. All right, this is a guy that in exactly double the amount of pass rush sets, he absolutely doubled, tripled, and sometimes quadrupled the production of Chop Robinson. And you can't sit here and say that the Pac-12 isn't any good. They have some phenomenal teams. I gave him the opportunity to pin his ear back against some teams that like to throw the ball a little bit more than especially teams in the Big Ten, but he took advantage of those situations. He absolutely did. Okay, and then the final person we're going to talk about in this one is Jer'Zhan Newton out of Illinois. So apparently we're only Pac-12 or Big Ten here. Isn't it sad that the Pac-12's gone? Anyways, but hey, at least most of it's joining the Big Ten. So I still get to watch a lot of Pac-12 football. I did a video separately, if you haven't seen it yet, on Brian Thomas and just how I think he would be an awesome pick. So maybe I'll even talk about him for a second after the Jer'Zhan Newton. But Jer'Zhan Newton is a guy that, again, he's a defensive tackle. And if you want to get a defensive tackle that can put pressure on the quarterback, this is a good guy to look at. All right, I'm sure we'll talk more about him. He's a guy who has played just a ridiculous amount of snaps over the past 3 years. 2 years ago, it was out of necessity, playing for Illinois, just not a lot of talent there, and then he started playing really well the last 2 years. This year was kind of fun because last year he was fantastic, so he was a hunted man on the defensive line, a lot of double teams, things like that, and you got to see him kind of adjust and figure out how to play against difficult defenses, and all he did was do that to the tune of even more sacks. He took advantage of his opportunities. He's a guy who simply kept getting better and better and better. He's not your typical 300-plus pound, 340-pound defensive tackle in the NFL. No, he's 295. He has enough size to mix it up in the run game, and his run defense kind of showed that. But and I'm telling you right now, he did mix it up. So here's the reason I made the video. There's a ton of talent at the end of the first round. There's talent throughout the draft. Caserio is a guy who's proven that he knows how to find talent. So you still are in position. I mean, like when you look at these players, right? You have guys that were originally top 5 guys like Chop Robinson. You have guys who play like top 5 guys in Latu, and everywhere in between, you can find something here. So hope you liked it. Hey, we want to be your go-to place for Texans football. Keep watching, like, subscribe. It'll let you know when new videos come in. Thanks. See you.